Hello and welcome. Welcome, you guys. It's the best day of the year after Christmas, Easter, and your birthday, of course. Basketball tournament starts.
March Madness.
Let's go.
Did you do your bracket, Allison?
There was a sale
Let's
or
go.
something.
Woo!
Did you do your bracket?
I did my bracket before y'all. Y'all weren't even on there. Wait, I did not do the treehouse bracket. I did the Yellowhammer bracket.
The bracket.
Can we not do the same thing?
No, because it's different apps.
Yeah, but now I don't know. All I know is I somehow ended up with Michigan winning it all.
And
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's a good pick. You have technically an hour and 15, but
okay. Well, hold on. Let me go back to the text you sent out.
I don't know. Honestly, this was the first year I don't feel ultra confident in my bracket, and I kind of just because I have not watched much college. I've watched Bama. I've watched every Bama game, but that's pretty much it.
I'm gonna grab. Can I go grab my bracket?
Join group. Let's see.
Do you have that funny clip of what they're asking what you're doing of the next few weeks? And it's basketball. I need to find that. Can we play that?
Yeah, if you can find it.
All right, I'm going to find it because it's on my Instagram and I laugh every time I see it.
Is this really the best day of the year? Like, are you that
Yes.
excited?
Oh, I am this excited. So
I thought there was a sale. Like,
this is the best sporting event of all time. Like just the tournament as a whole. When it's fun. When it's fun.
It's when it's fun. Oh, that is super cute.
When it's not fun.
Well,
whenever there's not upsets.
It's so basically you play all season to get to these 2 weeks. Actually, the last 3 weeks because you had to play in and get into the tournament, or you did a play-in game, or you're doing a playing game. So many people, I feel like, who aren't football people, because I'm not really a football person. I just supply the food and keep the TV on during the season. Basketball, I've loved since high school, and my kids had to explain. My best friend Kimberly had to explain to my kids, no, your mom had to be restrained as a cheerleader when they'd make a bad call, like in high school. And they're like, wait, you really like basketball? I'm like, no, I love basketball. Always have. Because they thought it was because of Chris or Will. And I'm like, it's honest. So I think it's the best time of year. I'm going to find the dadgum song and we're going to play it. But all right, our bracket is where, JP? Is it on our treehouse?
Have you filled yours out?
I filled out the treehouse. Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Yep. I see. Amy Beth needs to change her name, though. It still says ESPN fan 8610750.
Well, that's fine. We know who she is. 301066. Everybody remember that number. Why do you have to remember so many stupid codes? It's just a basketball bracket.
I know it is.
I don't understand.
I will say this, though. I've been to one Final Four. It was Amy Beth and I were at the same one, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know it, but I'm never going to another one of those again. It was too much.
Especially because it was in the Superdome.
Yes.
It was too much.
So many
there
people.
Were 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And you don't know it at the time. I didn't know it at the time. We were doing our best to soak it in. It was all so much. But just the weeks leading up to it and getting to the games. And as a team, you become a family because you are traveling together. Like that's the part to me that's the best, is the relationships that happen during this time of year. But my bracket, do you like my bracket? Did you see it?
We can't see it until the games start. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say the Final Four I went to in New Orleans, I got so sick.
JP.
I never get sick. I get sick maybe one time a year. And that night afterwards and the day, like,
do you have the flu?
I was like, I feel like I'm going to die. And I felt like that all day. But then the day after that, I was fine again. But like the day after the Final Four, I was like, I'm dying.
Were you drinking?
No, I think I got COVID or something.
You had the COVID.
I don't know.
You had the Covis,
but
as the sweet man in West Virginia says.
I got the New Orleans bug, whatever. That place is gross. Yeah.
You probably have hate.
You have the mold.
You have the ugh.
Okay.
All right. This is how I'm filling out my bracket. I'm curious. I don't know what I thought when I filled out the Yellowhammer one. So I'm gonna see if I end up in the same spot. But here's my how my brain works. We're gonna go through the East. Okay, Duke.
Mhm.
Choosing Duke because Siena sounds like lame.
It's so lame.
Ohio State versus TCU. I'm going with TCU because, I mean, at least they have Christian in the name. St. John's, Northern Iowa. We're going St. John's. I mean, they might be Catholic, but we're all love Jesus. Kansas and California Baptist.
California Baptist is playing good basketball right now, but I still picked Kansas.
I got to go with Kansas because of our Wilder Evers.
For sure.
Who we basically raised, plays basketball there. All right, Louisville versus South Florida.
They're also playing good basketball, but I went Louisville.
Well, don't tell me. We'll end up with the same.
But Allison, we're going to end up with the same.
Hold on. Louisville, South Florida. I don't know. I like Cardinals. I'm going with that. That's prettier than whatever.
The Bulls.
Oh, they're a bull.
They're a bull. It's where Chris did his fellowship. And so I have a heart for South Florida, but not enough to put him over Louisville.
All right, Michigan State, North Dakota. Who lives in North Dakota? We're
Girl,
going with Michigan
You're
State.
going Michigan. So you're going Spartan.
UCLA versus UCF. I just hate calming California. We're going with Florida.
Okay, we did too.
UConn and Furman. We need Furman to go down. I do know that. There's no way. How bad do they get killed?
Oh, I hope they'll probably get 40 apiece.
Although last night I may or may not have changed my opinion because my son said, there's a good chance that Furman can beat UConn. I was like, stop it.
Should I choose Furman?
I chose Furman. You choose UConn.
Okay.
So one of us wins.
The hell county is Prairie View.
That is a historically Black college and university.
Oh.
And they're actually very good, but
Maybe
they're going to
they
get
could-
crushed.
Oh, I was going to.
I'm sorry, Prairie View. We've played them before. They're really good. Actually.
Dabo, got to go with Clemson. Iowa. Who lives in Iowa?
I went with Iowa.
Iowans.
Okay, good.
Vanderbilt, McNeese.
The McNeese Cowboys are tearing it up, but our buddies are on Vanderbilt, so we're for Vandy.
All right, we're going SEC. Nebraska, Troy. That'll
I got
be my
Troy.
upset.
Go Trojans!
I'm going Troy.
I picked Troy too.
Okay, me too. We all did. All right, that's the game. Let's all see if we win that game.
Okay, what? I feel really embarrassed to ask this, but who's VCU?
Virginia
Commonwealth?
Commonwealth University. And I'm going to tell you, I picked VCU not because of I'm always a Tar Heel, but they're playing really well right now.
I don't know.
Pick Carolina.
Yeah, shorten your name. That's too much to say.
Pick Carolina because Seth is going to step up, and although their one kid is going to go first round, and he may or may not have a broken hand, and I can't tell you how I know that he may or may not have a broken hand. But
insider information.
I will tell you off the air, but I literally can't tell you.
You probably just ruined their whole game plan.
Good.
Yeah, Chapel Hill was my dream school. Anyway, I'll finish this when I have an hour.
You have, let's see, an hour and 6 minutes.
Penn has a really good coach, but I still picked Illinois, just so y'all know. Our buddies coach at Texas A&M, but I still went with St. Mary's.
I'm going Texas A&M.
Good. And
Even
then
though
Bucky
St.
Ball.
Mary's, I bet they're
our Chris is one of his groomsmen and
Bucky
best
Ball.
friends is
Yeah,
a coach with him. Houston and Idaho. I picked Houston because
absolutely.
I mean, there's just no question.
Houston's my
Also,
champ.
who lives in Idaho? Do you grow potatoes?
Idahoans.
I think Steve Dace does.
I love you.
Or is he Iowa?
Iowa. He's Iowa.
Shoot.
He's Iowa.
All right, Arizona.
Long Island. You guys, we haven't done a New York accent.
I don't know if I have a New York accent.
Judy from Jersey. Do we need to fight it out?
Yeah, because you need to get your dog off my lawn.
That's so good.
So Long Island actually has a chance.
I think you have a future in this. Judy sounds like she's dying.
Jody is a smoker.
She needs
A smoker.
She's a smoker. And Judy used to be from Brooklyn. She moved over to Jersey.
She defected.
Ab sounds like one.
Smells
Ab sounds like one you don't want to mess with.
No, you don't. Get your dog off my lawn.
She's the one that in 2026 still has the 1989 bangs that one whole row goes back and one whole row goes down. And she feathers her hair out on the side with White Rain hairspray.
Judy?
No.
Is this Judy?
Whoever you are.
What is my name? What do you think? What you think I should be called? What is it?
I was gonna say
Cecilia.
Cecilia, yo.
Because you're definitely Italian and scary in the
Cecilia.
mob. Oh, you
Well-
are Italian.
Yeah, what do you mean I'm not Italian?
You thought you were forever.
Cecilia, that's a nice name. I'm not actually very nice.
Oh.
Well, I am because the Holy Ghost has to restrain me every day.
What about Donna?
Donna could be good. Let's be Donna.
Somebody from The Sopranos. Did anybody watch The
Yes,
Sopranos?
one of my favorite shows.
Okay.
ever.
Well, what was her name?
Which one?
The main one.
Tony's wife. Are you
Yeah,
talking about?
yo.
Carmela.
Carmela, yo.
There
That's
you
what my
go.
name is.
Good. There you go.
Okay.
I said
Well.
Camille.
Well.
Yeah.
Look, we will have no beef if you keep your dog off my lawn.
Does that
And
mean I
let's
gotta
have
go
a
with
smoke.
Villanova? That sounds kind of Italian.
Yo, it's Catholic. So of course you gotta go with Villanova.
Okay,
I mean, what-
Arkansas, they're on a roll.
The Wildcats.
They're incredible.
The Wildcats.
No, it's not my Villanova.
Oh.
Villanova's
Villanova
the
Wildcats.
I'm going Texas with an upset.
Say, don't you love Villanova's, whatever his name is, coach as the commentator?
Jay Wright.
Dude,
He's good.
he is so good.
He's very good.
It's really good.
All right, y'all do the show while I finish this.
No, we're gonna talk through this. BYU. Did you pick BYU?
I did.
Heck no, I went with Texas.
All right.
Hook 'em
How about the
horns.
Zags versus Kennesaw State?
Gonzaga. I went with Gonzaga.
I did too. Even though Antoine Petway is
Mhm.
killing it at Kennesaw State,
Bama made.
but I picked the Zags. Miami over Missouri. I picked Miami.
That's what I picked.
How about Purdue over Queens?
Yeah.
Go. Hey, boil her up, baby. Boil her up.
Yuck.
All right.
Come on.
They beat us back-to-back years. don't
I
like
know, but-
Purdue.
I don't care. I went to
Speak
school there for 2
us.
years. Not at Purdue. I went to Taylor, a tiny school that the population of the town was like 100, but they had good ice cream.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm picking St. Louis because I hate Georgia.
I hate
I
Georgia
hate
too.
everything Georgia.
Amen, sister.
Go
Yeah, I do
down.
too.
Texas Tech.
Yep.
Go Tubbs.
Yeah, no zips. No Akron zips.
Go Tubbs. He hasn't coached there in like 30 years.
I kind of forgot that he was there.
I picked Bama over Hofstra.
Well,
Duh.
I
yeah.
hope you did.
Duh. I
If
have Alabama
you-
going all the way.
If you pick
Really?
Miami of Ohio, which is so lame anyway, over Tennessee, I'm.
Allison,
Thank you. Okay, go Vols.
I thought you knew me better than that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes, I mean, you got to pick some upsets. I get it.
Yeah, I actually had Bama losing in the Sweet 16 to Michigan.
I don't know who you are anymore.
I have to be.
Do you
listen,
not believe them?
Listen, our second best player.
Fair weather fan.
Our second best player just got caught with 2 pounds of marijuana. Okay.
2.1 to be
Okay,
exact.
so I don't know.
Is that dealer level?
That's like you're dealing to the entire campus.
Hey, allegedly though, I'm hearing he got framed. I'm hearing he got framed.
No joke.
No joke. We'll see. Oates cryptically said something about that, and I heard a rumor. So we'll see what happens. But regardless, we don't have him for the tournament. So
Was it
That
Auburn that
sucks.
framed him?
the timing is conspicuous right before the tournament. I'm just saying.
But why would look Auburn just go to your NIT and disappear? Okay, lay low. That will be
I
disappointing.
have the funnest word for us when we're done. That because you say this word a lot, JP and Allison, you're going to fall off your chair.
What's the okay?
Man.
Boy.
It's so
Who
good.
cares?
Also, the lights are making my sorry look really bright. Look away. Look away.
Okay,
Don't look at me.
I don't know.
Who's
What's
looking
the
anyway? I'm old.
upset? What's the upset? Should I take Tennessee State over Iowa State?
No.
bad.
My only upset special was I don't even think that's an upset. Who did I pick? I picked High Point over
I
Wisconsin.
did too. I did too.
Because Will said the campus is the prettiest college campus he's ever seen.
That's a great reason.
And B, he says that they are great right now.
I mean, think about it. The name High Point, like
It's
yeah.
a Christian university. Maybe in name only. I
should
don't know. I've never
should I
been there.
pick Buckyball over Houston? I don't think so.
No, pick
Houston. Houston's my champ. So
No way.
Oh.
mhm.
Oh, wait, really?
All right.
Wait, where's my champ? Go
Arizona.
to champ.
Let's see where I end up.
I don't know how to scooch over.
But y'all don't want to sit here and.
We can do the
All
rest
right.
of
Do
the
some
first
news.
round in the break
All
for
right.
Allison.
Okay.
Guys, here's a word I sent to Molly because she's a college freshman and she's going through it right now. Okay. Not going through it. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. I've got a word for the day, and you say it on the air.
You do. We need to. You said this in the Katie Britt.
Oh, let's see if I can
In the
get it.
Katie Britt.
Their stupidity.
Hold on.
At the same time.
Here we go.
The word of the day is pistified. It's when you're pissed off and mystified at their stupidity at the same time.
Pistified.
That is a tacky word.
I'm
It's
happy
so
with it.
tacky. But when I heard it, I was like, I got to send it to Molly because this is how she is right now at something and at a thing. And this is JP.
I mean, Katie Britt was mighty pistified yesterday on the Senate floor.
She was. So it kind of lets you get away with saying the word without actually saying the word.
It's not a okay. Where do y'all rank it on bad words?
Look, we don't even say "shut up" in our house.
well,
But you say some other words. Do you or do you not? Are y'all good in your household? I'm not.
Oh, yeah. I did say the S word the other day.
Mm.
Like I ran into a door frame or something and my kids all stopped. Like I really never, I'm not saying I just don't ever cuss. In my head, I do.
do
It
you
just doesn't usually come out.
no genuinely do you consider that a cuss word?
I don't consider it a cuss word, but
It's a coarse word.
I just think it's kind of tacky.
Well,
It's like sucks.
my
Mm.
my high school football coach said it nonstop because he would drop F-bombs when he coached at Alabama. And then
oops.
when he came to a Christian school, they said, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
So
I
he
wouldn't
just
think
said,
so.
he said that word like every other word. So ever since it's just been like common, but yeah.
It's stuck. Well, I do think Katie Britt was pistified, but she was so mystified at that man that came over and was interrupting her
Mhm.
conversation. And she really did look like bewildered. Like, dude, what are you doing?
You raising your voice at me?
No, and you see her go, what?
Yeah.
She's so confused.
And she sees the camera. She's like, oh.
All right. Now, I have one other fun thing because we're clearly not going to get to play excuse me. Now, we didn't get to do this because we're in the Capitol doing very serious things. And look, we have a great show for you today. Obviously, it's March Madness.
Do we though?
We do.
We do.
It's going to be great. We have montage. I have a plunge for us, and it's based off a clip I've been saving for a couple of weeks, but it's about feminism, a topic we've not covered. But it's an interesting angle. And this girl was on Joe Rogan, and it's awesome. I really cannot wait to talk about it. But we probably have the three. I never know. We probably do it every day. And great news. So we've got all that in Alabama news. We're following up on news. This is a great day. It's Thursday. It's a great day. But we didn't get to do one little St. Patrick's Day situation. Okay, just one. What is your leprechaun name? It's the last letter of your first name. Okay. I'm going to send it to y'all so that you can have it. And this is how you figure it out. We didn't get to do this.
All right, my bracket's done.
Okay. Hold on. I'm sending
Wow.
this to Treehouse.
All right.
Okay.
And we have to quickly.
Last letter of your first
Here you go.
name.
I'm sending it. And it puts your words together so that you have a leprechaun name, because we have our show name, if we were in show business name, Allison.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is nice McSparkle.
Last letter of my first name, which is H. So I'm friendly McWiggles.
Friendly McWiggles. That's good.
Okay.
Oh.
Allison's is
Letter of your first name. Happy. Letter of your last name.
no. Yours
Last
is
letter of your first name.
yours is
so
nice.
N, nice.
Oh, nice. First letter. Nice.
McWiggles, just like
So y'all are both McWiggles,
I'm friendly McWiggles, and she's nice McWiggles.
and I'm nice McSparkle.
So
Like,
terrible.
I feel like that's such a y'all. If somebody, okay, you're setting up your friend, or like, yeah, your friend says she's going out with someone, and they're like, "Do you know him?" And you're like, "Yeah, he's really nice."
You know it's going to go badly.
That's the worst thing you can say about someone.
Yeah, it is.
It's-
You might as well just call me ugly.
Yeah, they have a really nice
Or
personality.
Chubbs McGee.
He's a good guy.
He's really nice.
I mean, what
That's it.
what word do you want to hear?
Oh.
Though, because the other word that you could hear going, he's nice, is he's unhinged. Like that would also be bad. What are good descriptions that you could say about somebody going on a date, seeing as how we promised your dad we'd find you a wife? So what are good descriptions?
This is such a good discussion because I told y'all I started Bridgerton.
Yes.
Do you think that's accurate? Has anybody watched it, or do you know anything about the show?
Mm-mm.
Is that how people used to get married?
You mean arranged?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's real. That's 100% real.
Like where the guys would come courting and you had to dress up and
No, that part is real.
ugh,
Isn't that awful?
that would be terrible. God love them.
And then if you're a family that you don't really care about love, and mainly they didn't, it was more about power and families coming together. Like you should read some of the things, I saw this, where the queens would talk about how their husbands treated them like dirt. Like, aren't you so glad we're alive right now?
Yeah, literally I think it was the King of Austria when Napoleon beat Austria like for the third time, and they made an agreement that Napoleon would marry the King of Austria's daughter, and that was like part of their but
I thought that was just for like the upper echelons.
I think it was just a thing. Back then.
Dads would make arrangements.
Okay. Well, that would stink.
I know.
Anyway, I think the best thing would be like, he's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Forget godly.
Well, if you're
Forget
talking,
a great leader, he's really fun.
well, if you're dealing, and if you're Christians, you know you're going to send somebody out with another believer. So that's like inevitable.
Okay.
Like,
all right. That's
you,
a given.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's a given. So then, yeah, fun is a great word. That's a great word.
What would your-
Adventurous,
Okay.
but not if you say that in different.
JP, what would what would your adjective be? Because we do have to get you married. Like if
We're
somebody
actively
said this
looking.
about a girl that they were thinking about setting you up with, what would you want to hear?
She is hot. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
that was
well,
a joke.
I mean, we're not
Well,
going to set
yeah,
you up
but-
with somebody.
Also
Um,
inevitable.
Yeah.
Unspoken.
I would say
She already loves Jesus and she's already hot.
okay, funny, sweet. I don't know. That'd be probably the two. I don't take people's words for stuff. I gotta go
Yeah.
So it probably wouldn't hold much weight. But if I had to choose, that would probably be two.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I wonder what words our husbands would use to describe us.
Oh, I'm scared to ask.
I don't know.
Okay, how would you describe Chris?
Hilarious, wise, and generous.
Jared would be fun. He is the life of the party everywhere he goes. Loyal.
That's a good word.
And yeah, he's very generous. Those are good combinations.
We got good ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Cool.
But I'm not going to ask what he would say about me.
Absolutely not.
Actually, we should text him. during the break.
Unhinged.
We're going to text him.
Okay. When we come back, we may or may not have news. I don't know. No, we will. Do we have a montage? I didn't even check. We do. We'll be back with that on the right side.
It's our honor to be here. Thank you for having us. Question. The lieutenant governor's race is shaping up to be one of the biggest races in this election. You've been in the office now for 8 years. What's one piece of advice that you can offer the next lieutenant governor and how can they make the position more effective and influential?
Yeah, I think a piece of advice I have for really all elected officials and whoever's the next lieutenant governor is if you know what you believe, it's easy to vote. And so, I came in with parents that taught me biblical truths, biblical values, and that's where, my what I believe comes from. And so I think so often people get influenced down here by lobbyists or people. And so my advice is know what you believe and hold firm to those beliefs, and don't let lobbyists or political winds potentially change what you believe. I think that's real important. So that's my advice to, whoever's out there. What was the other part of that question?
Well, this is so helpful. So beyond that, then if you know what you believe, you know that you're going to stand firm and hold to that. How can the next lieutenant governor make this position, your present position, more effective and influential?
Yeah, I think so. Lieutenant governor, I mean, one of the things that's interesting about that spot is, you only break in an instance of a tie. So anytime you vote, you win. But using the office and the bully pulpit of the office is something we've really engaged in. And I didn't quite understand how powerful that was until later in the term. So I think whoever, gets in that office realize, hey, you're elected statewide to represent the entire state, everybody in the state, and use that office for the, promoting conservative beliefs, values, things that you want to get done. And it really, we've helped drive the conversation, whether it was, pushing, school choice, right, and getting that done, killing taxes, I mean, you can really shape the narrative because people are going to listen when you speak. And so, I mean, my advice is use it early and, often if needed. And then I think, obviously you're going to have a great governor and, Coach Tuberville that's going to push a conservative agenda. And I think, whoever's the next lieutenant governor can use that position to back him up and, get a lot of conservative things done. And it'll be exciting to watch.
There seems to be growing frustration with Washington, D.C. and kind of the inaction that is not happening. They're in a stalemate. DHS is shut down. And there's a lot more focus now on states' rights than maybe ever in the past. Do you feel like the governor's office and the lieutenant governor's office is almost more powerful and important now going into this election with where we are in Alabama and U.S. history?
Yeah, no doubt. And I think when you look at that's why, why did I not run for Senate? And why did I not come on y'all show during all that time? I avoided Allison because I was like, I don't want to be asked that.
Wouldn't even answer my phone calls.
But I mean, look, I'm thankful for, people like Senator Tuberville, Senator Britt, and what they're doing. But man, DC is frustrating, right? I mean, just the lack of an action. I think states' rights are important. And I'll say this, obviously governor's important, lieutenant governor's important. I'll say this, state legislature maybe has as much pop and power as anybody, because especially the way the Constitution is in Alabama, the Senate and House have a lot of constitutional power and authority. So who we elect, or reelect, right, in these elections is going to really determine, whether or not Coach can get stuff done, and who also the next lieutenant governors and what they're wanting to get accomplished. So, but I think states matter now more so than ever, yes. And what's interesting is you're seeing a lot of groups that aren't necessarily good even trying to influence state policy because they realize that's where the power is now.
Sorry, I'm kind of taking calling an audible here, but I'm curious your philosophy between the governor's office and the legislature. Is it more of a checks and balance role, or is it to work together to push through the governor's agenda?
Yeah, I mean, I think so my opinion on that, if I was governor, or my advice to Coach if he gets governor, is to line out what do you want to do to improve our state, and then get the legislature on board and work together, right? And I think there's a good opportunity right now with Representative Stadhagen being party chair for everybody to work together, and for Republicans just to run out of state. We can still continue to fight regulations. We can continue to lower taxes, right, which are important. So I think, there's going to be a lot of, all this stuff with Islam going on and them attacking Christians and Jews, right? There's some real fights there. And I think it's important that Republicans stick together and that we push back on that. And look, and let's just be honest. I mean, the Democrats' woke agenda is scary in a lot of instances, and we got to push back on that as well. So I think, my answer would be work together. But I think certainly the way it's set up, there are checks and balances where, somebody, for some reason, a policy is not good. That's why you have the checks and balances. But I think there's a tremendous opportunity for everybody to work together and collaborate.
Based on your time in Montgomery, what is the biggest problem in Alabama that politicians talk about the least?
I think right now the biggest problem is that I'm going to say we've had so many years of good budgets, and where a lot of times you hear the narrative that you don't have to cut anything until budgets get tight. And I'm of the opinion there's still a lot of waste in government, and that's one of the biggest problems that, and it really starts with the executive.
Welcome back to the right side, the right place at the right time. We are infotainment, and we hope you enjoyed our basketball segment. They're playing basketball. All right, but now we're doing the news. So, JP, we can't wait. We have no idea what you put in there. But how about take it away?
What I was simply pointing out is some of the rules that still apply to this body. For instance, dueling with 2 consenting adults is still there. I was pointing out what is still
illegal for 170 years. There's no precedent for legal dueling.
Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No, they weren't, 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. This would be more challenging to explain had the Secretary of State, the President, and the Speaker of the House not come out and said that we conducted this attack at this time because the Israelis were about to do so.
We will likely see a clarification here that NATO, maybe some of our Asian allies, will not directly get involved in the fighting as we continue the bombing campaign. I would be surprised that if eventually there isn't some kind of a global coalition to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz.
Tonight, there's a debate on whether Alabamians should declare their party affiliation before voting. Some lawmakers are wanting a new requirement for voters, but some say it could come with consequences.
I want to turn our attention really quick, Senator, to the Save America Act. Debate is happening right now in the Senate. Tell us what you know. What can we expect today?
Well, this is more of a show week. We can't get it passed, and it's probably one of the most crucial pieces of legislation, single pieces that we will face.
That's packed full, my friends.
It's an encouraging word to end on.
Packed full.
Thanks, JP.
You're welcome.
So, could we talk about the other reason why Joe can't quit?
Yeah, I'm curious y'all's thoughts on that.
I can't even think about it because he looks so much like Clark Kent. I just see Superman.
Clark Kent was under investigation because he was leaking classified documents.
But was he?
Yes, he was.
But two things can be true at once. You can leak classified documents.
That's exactly right. But the reason why, I found a couple of things. He was on Laura Ingraham last night. It was in the Daily Wire this morning. And I saved the transcript. I've got the Laura Ingraham clip, but Joe Kent has been involved in some things. Let me scooch down here, please. That CIA Director John Ratcliffe says Joe Kent was completely wrong to say Iran did not pose an imminent threat. Kent was kept out of all briefings over fears that he was leaking intel. And then Buzz Patterson says that Joe leaked intelligence under the nose of the Secretary of War. As a result, his access to classified information was removed several weeks ago. He's not stepping down due to his allegiance to integrity. He's being forced to leave. Initially, I was like, I can buy that Israel in some universes, you're like, okay, that makes sense because of all we've talked about. But then when I found that out, I was like, all right, I need to know what my friends think.
Okay. Do you know Sarah Adams?
Mm-hmm.
She's on Sean Ryan all the time.
Yes.
Ex-CIA.
Her and Sean have their own podcast now.
Yes. Yeah. So this is what she wrote. You ready?
I'm ready.
Director Kent was one of the few people I saw sincerely trying to make real progress in going after Islamic terrorists and sleeper cells on U.S. soil, a threat I do not believe has been properly communicated to the president. Kent's mandate was not overseas terrorism, where he and I may have had some differing views. His job was the defense of the U.S. homeland from terrorist threats, literally the sole purpose as to why the National Counterterrorism Center was created. After reading the post below, I have serious questions about whether he faced internal pushback while pursuing those terrorist threats here. If that is the case, the public deserves to know. So her stance is he was doing his job, which was to go after terrorist cells, but maybe people in the government were preventing him, or he was doing too good of a job.
Yeah, I don't know. My thoughts on the entire situation are kind of independent on what Joe Kent is saying. So, I kind of take it with a grain of salt, with him personally. However, I'll throw this out there. And I don't know, we're not privy to all the details of both of these cases. But if you notice, right after Tucker started really being vocal about, being against the war in Iran, now potentially there could be, or he's now under investigation for being a foreign agent. And it seems conspicuous that Joe quits. And now it comes out that he's under investigation for, so I don't know. Like I said, we're not privy to the details of either case. Could it be the case that Joe was doing that and quit because of that? That's certainly possible. And, maybe likely. But the timing of both is odd. And like I said, regardless of what Joe Kent goes on Tucker and says about why we're at war with Iran, I'm still going to have my thoughts on it. So it's not because Joe Kent said it, but I don't know. It's the timing is weird when they released that he was under investigation right after he quit. But also here's the part too that annoys me is Trump was bashing him as he was always soft on security. I never really trusted him, blah, blah, blah. But then if you go and look when he's talking about him and why he put him in that position, it's because he's this qualified, amazing, and so.
And if he's leaking information and you know it, and he's not good at his job and you know it, why was he still in his job?
Yeah, you fire him.
I think both things can be true. I think that what he could be saying about Israel could be true just as likely as if he were truly left out of briefings, then maybe he wasn't trustworthy. But is he not trustworthy because of what he was saying? And they didn't like it and it didn't line up with what they wanted to do in Iran? Could it be that? But it's all so interesting. Because no matter what, and this is where I hope we come in, nothing is as it seems anymore.
Right.
It hasn't been for a while, but truly right now, nothing is as it seems. And we're all constantly wondering, what is the truth? Tucker has his agenda and other, the government people have their agenda. It's too bad that when Republicans are in office, we can't stay on the same agenda. This happens every time. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But that's what caught my attention because I had no idea about that side of it. I just thought, all right, so he resigned. I can get that. I can understand that you're like, I'm not for the war. I can't do this anymore. Okay, no problem. If you can't, you can't.
Yeah.
Well, but interesting.
I'll say this. It did put a bad taste in my mouth. He immediately got in front of the camera to go on Tucker. It was almost like he was getting out in front of something, maybe an incoming investigation or whatever. That seemed a little bit odd. I mean, him and Tucker are friends, but it was just like, I'm quitting and I'm immediately going on Tucker to put myself out there and put.
Well, let's flip the script. Maybe he knew they would immediately start throwing things around about him that weren't true.
Yeah.
And so who has the biggest podcast in the world right now?
Mhm.
I mean, maybe Tucker, Joe Rogan, whatever.
Yeah.
Debatable. Why not? Kind of, that's like what you do. Game plan number one is you control the narrative.
Or wait a little bit, let them say all the dumb stuff, and then answer all the questions. So maybe this will give him a chance to go back and answer whatever he said because he's been vocal. I don't know. It's interesting.
Like I said, the part that annoys me the most is the way they're just bashing Joe. I mean, I get it. If he's doing what you alleged he did, which was leaking classified information, then bash him on that. But it seems so fake, and it puts a dent in the credibility of everybody else you put into their positions, because if before you put him in, he's this amazing, qualified, awesome individual, and then he quits and I never trusted him at all. He's so bad. So then it makes you wonder, okay, were they lying about all these other people that are in the administration? It's
yes. I mean, that's kind of how Trump is. I feel like you don't cross him. You don't make him look bad. He values loyalty over anything, and he sees that as disloyal. So as soon as you do something that he feels threatened by or makes him look bad, I mean, that's Trump.
Yeah.
Speaking of, what is up with Israel bombing? Did y'all see the Trump Truth Social post about that?
Yeah.
This is the first little crack in the Israel-U.S. alliance. I don't know how this is going to work out, and I don't even really know what this means, but Donald Trump posted yesterday, Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as the South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the whole has been hit. The United States knew nothing about this particular attack, and the country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. So then it goes on to say no more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case, Qatar. So is Israel just, what was the point of that?
Well, my take on that is I don't buy the fact that the United States did not know beforehand. That's just
really?
Yeah, I don't buy that.
Why in the world then would President Trump come out and say we didn't know?
Because he knows how much it's going to rise gas prices domestically. And I think he's starting to realize this is not popular. And you drive by and gas prices are getting incrementally higher as this war goes on. And, we did what we did on Carg Island, which, it was a big test to see, okay, how far is Iran willing to go and respond? And that did a lot to raise gas prices. And I think what that was Trump throwing Netanyahu and Israel under the bus publicly, domestically, so that, hey, if you see your gas prices go up a little bit, it wasn't me this time. That's what it looked like to me. The United States and Israel, whether we like it or not, are just so much in lockstep in what they're doing right now in this war. Even if they're not doing it together, they know Israel and the U.S. aren't doing anything without talking to each other. So I don't buy that. Could it be the case? Maybe, but I just don't personally buy it. I think this was Trump trying to CYA a little bit because he knows that this is really going to raise gas prices. So that's just my opinion.
Okay. But did Trump go to Israel first? Kind of like what happens in Montgomery and DC all the time. Look, I got to put out a statement that says, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Probably.
And look, just trust me. It's what I got to do. You think he did that?
Probably. Yeah.
Isn't so much of politics like childhood, where either you get in trouble with your best friend or your sibling, and you're like, listen, before mom gets up here, you better cover for me. Or I'm going to tell her about last week. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do this to you. Like, I'm going to cut your bangs in the middle of the night. Yeah. I mean, but it feels like childhood.
Yeah.
We all can recognize when things like that happen. So when your spidey senses go off and you're like, I did that to my brother when we were 7.
Yeah.
Yes. The answer is yes. You're right.
Well, I think Trump is getting annoyed with how this war is going slowly more and more. I think he trusted his officials, and I mean, he came out and said that many times that he did this to help Israel. And I think he expected it to be a Venezuela. We get in, we do our job, we're out. And it's not turning into that. And he's seeing the gas prices go up, and he's feeling the pressure a little bit. And I think he's getting more and more annoyed of like, what are we doing? Like, we can't get the Strait of Hormuz to, NATO is not willing to help open the Strait of Hormuz. Like, our allies aren't helping, and Israel is doing what they did, hitting gas fields. I think he's just getting slowly more and more on edge and annoyed with it all. So I think that maybe led to his statement kind of throwing Netanyahu and Israel under the bus. But it's not, I mean, he made the decision, so it's on him. But I just think slowly more and more, he's just like, can we just what are we doing? And,
I agree. I was listening to the Daily Wire, the Morning Wire, and they're reporting that Trump is very surprised at the reluctance of our allies. And do you remember a couple of days ago, somebody who worked with Trump, I don't know what show it was on, said that he's an incredibly impatient person, like one of the most impatient people they've ever met. And so for high achievers like him who don't wait, this doesn't make any sense to him because he's a businessman. Even though he said 20 years ago, I'd take Carg Island. He said that. It's interesting to watch him struggle with the slowness that is government and that always will be government.
That's a good point.
And so I'm glad he's impatient, but this is the way the founding fathers set it up so that it would be slow, even in these kinds of situations. But the problem is we need this to stop so that we can drive our cars and get oil, even though we have enough oil. But it really is going to affect people, and he doesn't want to look bad because at the heart of it, the man's a narcissist. And that's their thing they hate the most is looking bad.
So who's the next victim of Trump's frustration?
So we've had Kristi Noem, which we kind of agree with, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder, that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. You talking about in the administration itself?
Yeah. I'm kind of curious, as if this drags on, he's going to start looking for more and more people to place the blame on. We saw him kind of do it with Hegseth, Rubio, Jared Kushner. They told me that the attack was imminent. And so I acted on their intel, whatever. I kind of think Pete Hegseth, only by watching his press conferences, he's getting more and more, when you start yelling and cussing and you start getting angry, that's when you're losing the debate. And he seems more and more frantic to prove himself to be right. His verbiage and his wording gets a little weirder. His justifications get kind of strange. And I wonder if that is going to be,
that's fair.
I don't know.
Raising Cane. The JSOC Raising Cane. I don't know if you remember, it was right before the State of the Union, there was a report from, I believe, the New York Times. It was one of them that said that behind the scenes, he was against this operation and starting it, and they were on it immediately. Trump was, and of course, Raising Cane also came out and said no, but I think there's something there. So I don't know. If I had to pick one that would get thrown under the bus, it'd probably be him. But
I think there's too much support for Rubio, but I could see him turning on him as well. But I agree with that assessment. I think Hegseth would be the next natural because he's the face of what's happening.
I feel like everybody else is just ducking for cover right now.
Yeah. Hide. Everybody hide.
Everybody hide.
I'll just say this one last part. If I think, and I said this when it happened, and I was worried this was going to happen, that Trump, after Venezuela, rightfully so, was feeling like untouchable,
emboldened. Yeah,
and I think that was taken advantage of to do what our allies wanted to do in the Middle East. And Trump's like, dude, we got the best military in the world. We can just get in there. You telling me we can just go in and do the same thing? You just do it. Just handle it. But the problem is Iran has, dare I say, the most powerful chip on the table. They can close a fifth of the world's oil trade. And we're apparently surprised that they're doing it so well. But that affects every one of us because our gas prices go up. And that affects midterms. That affects his polling, which he cares a lot about. So I don't know. Slowly over time, I think we're going to get more and more of an annoyance from Trump.
Here's the deal. You're right. Think about anywhere else. They fold. Not just Venezuela, but Iraq. Think about when we were in college. Iraq, maybe you were in college. You were in college after me. Iraq, other places, Afghanistan, will fight, but we'll fight and we'll have some kind of resolution. We are still dealing with people who have only known fighting for 2,500 years. This is, I believe, our fiercest foe. And this is what nobody expected. They truly thought, well, we'll bomb Karg Island and we're really going to make a mark. And they're like, we will still fight you.
Yeah. What did they have to lose?
Yeah.
We will still kill more people. We don't care. They don't care. And that's where we have to go back to the drawing board and go, all right, this is that monster in the movie that you are panicked about the whole time because you do not know how you're going to kill the monster.
The one in the dungeon of the State House that we heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one.
In that room.
This is that. And this is also, Trump is the same way. People fold under pressure from him. This will be his greatest test. This right here. What happens with Iran? No matter what Israel does or doesn't do, this will be his greatest test because he can't have his way. And he only knows his way. And yet Iran only knows their way.
That's a really good point, Abs. I've never, and I think you've said it before, but maybe I never really thought about what you were saying. I just heard it. Like it appears we went into this war thinking they had the mindset that we would have, that we have of being a nation for 250 years. No, we fought for it, but their mindset is completely different. It's kind of like when we watch videos out of Israel and they're like making whatever they're having for dinner and they've got to run to the shawarma. And then they just kind of casually walk to the bomb shelter. I don't know, check YouTube and then go back up and finish dinner. We're like, what?
We're getting bombed.
The bomb side, we would. And so maybe that's where we went awry. You're not dealing with anybody that has the same outlook, the same mindset. And you're right, JP. They are like, what do we have to lose? Like, this is kind of it.
Yep. We do this or we literally collapse.
Yep. That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to be it.
I have a solution though.
What?
Oh,
go ahead.
You're going to have to wait for the solution.
Okay. And I do have a bit of good news before we talk about Markwayne Mullen and Rand Paul.
Can we please?
Well, that is the solution.
Oh, I can't wait then.
Yep. We're bringing back dueling. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Y'all have heard us talk about Inspire Advisors, how Paul Breyer and his team at Inspire Advisors will help you grow your investment portfolio while also screening out companies that don't stand for conservative Christian principles.
Paul and his team are experts on what they call biblically responsible investing. And for a limited time, they're hosting a free class that you can register for.
Check out the class and register for free at moneypatternwealth.com. It's godly, it's conservative, and it's financial freedom.
Again, go to Inspire Advisors at moneypatternwealth.com. Check them out and tell them you heard about them at Rightside Radio.
I hope Coach Tuberville will tackle, but I think there's hundreds of millions of dollars of, potentially waste, maybe fraud and abuse in Alabama that we could cut out and save the taxpayers potential money. So
there's a closed primary bill that I think is in committee today in the House. Republicans in the party have been talking about it for years. If it makes it to the Senate, how is the Senate feeling about that? And what do you think its chances are of passing?
Yeah, I really like that bill. And the reason I like it is, I like just Republicans deciding our nominee. And I think that's important. And, sometimes there's some pushback. Oh, you're going to lose elections. You look at other states that have done that. I don't believe that's the case. But it's frustrating to me that sometimes Democrats play in a Republican primary. And we don't need that in our state. We want Republicans deciding Republican, and then in the general vote for, whatever. I mean, if you're a Democrat, you want to vote for Republican, have at it. Or if you want to come over and be a Republican, like, we'll take you, because I understand why you wouldn't want to be a Democrat in Alabama. So, I mean, I'm all for, independents and Democrats joining the Republican Party, but I think the party registration makes sense. I like having parameters there where there's certain things you have to do in order to vote to be, a Republican, where you can't just keep hopping back and forth. And so I think as far as the Senate, I think we can get it passed. So that's, and I'm going to work hard and use the influence of my office to get that done. And so there you go. Yeah. I want it. I think that's important.
So speaking of passing, what else do you think, or would you like for the Senate to accomplish, or do they hope they can accomplish for the rest of the session?
Yeah, right now, our primary constitutional duty is to, we've got to get our budgets passed, right? And so we're, working on the education budget. We just passed the general fund budget. It went to the House. The ETF's coming up, and so I think there's going to be a lot of focus on that. And you start looking at billions of dollars of funding going through each line item, make sure it's appropriated correct. It's a lot of work, right, to go through that. And so I think that's the next thing that I want to make sure we accomplish in the Senate, is make sure we get a good educational budget out. And one of those things, I'm passionate about school choice, making sure it's properly funded, and it will be. And then also just making sure that, the money appropriate. And the one thing I'm proud of on the ETF is, since Republicans have taken over, we haven't had proration. We paid back all the money the Democrats borrowed through the rainy day accounts. We're in the best fiscal shape we've ever been. And we've got close to $3 billion in a savings account, because we are going to go back down, right? And so it's important we have that there so we don't go into proration. So from a fiscal standpoint, we've been conservative. We've cut taxes, and we have money set back, right? So, that's totally different from DC, where we're spending money we don't have. And so I'm proud of that, but I also go through line item by line item, because I'm a business guy, and want to make sure we're not wasting any money. And so that's will be the next thing we work on.
You announced that you have joined Freedom First Alabama. Explain to us what that is, kind of how it came to be, and what the goals are of that coalition.
Yeah, it's just a collaboration of lawmakers and different groups to fight for conservative, liberty, freedom first, that's the name of it, right? Issues. So I think there's going to continue. I think that's needed, because right now, liberals, Democrats are well organized, they're well funded, and they come in and sometimes attack on all kind of different fronts. Whether it's property rights, I just wrote an op-ed on that. Whether it's going after supporting traditional teachers unions against having a mechanism for that. Whether it's tort reform, you just go down the list, right? But I think it's important to have a coalition of conservative lawmakers, conservative business groups, and let's say, hey, what is our agenda? And so it's two-part: one, to push back against the liberal woke agenda, but then also to push for things we want to get done. So excited to help push for that. That's what I do. And think that's one of the things I'm pretty good at, is articulating a message for things we want to get done. And if you look at kind of my track record, we've been pretty successful at the issues that we want to get passed, to getting them passed. I can't think of many that we didn't get done. So
when people look back at your time as Lieutenant Governor, how do you want to be remembered?
Yeah, I hope first that I treated people with respect, that we had character, that we made a difference from a conservative standpoint, that the state was in a lot better shape than when we started. And then that we weren't afraid to take on the establishment. We weren't afraid to take on big issues, and that I don't know. I mean, I guess that would be some of the things, but because I it really boils down to this, right? I think you got one life to make a difference. You better make a difference while you're here. I've said that over and over the entire time, but I really believe that, right? It's like, why are we here, right? Why did God put me in this position? Well, I hope I made a difference to improve our state in all the different areas. And, and look, I mean, we've helped, it doesn't matter if Republican, Democrat, Independent, we've tried to.
Welcome back. And if you think, hey, we're listening to a little more music than normal, you'd be correct.
Sorry.
It's
My
okay.
bad.
You know what? We got drinks,
Show schmo.
good drinks. They're not alcoholic. Coffee, protein drinks, all the things. We are ready for another hour of excellence. Did you like what I just did there?
Makes
So
me laugh.
it does. Allison Sinclair, you said something intriguing before the break because you said you knew how to solve our problems.
Actually, we have spoken about this way before it made it to the Senate committee.
Mm-hmm.
If we'd like to recap,
Surely.
we have talked about not just dueling as a way to settle disagreements, but I chose jousting. I think y'all came up with. No, it was Jared Hudson that was on and said, I just like a good old fist fight.
He did. He
What
said
did y'all
that.
choose?
Did I
you go
say
dueling too?
Did I say I think I said dueling.
Okay, well, my first answer was dueling, and what was my?
But
somebody said something about swords.
But could you duel? I need to clarify terms here. Are we saying dueling with pistols? Are we saying
Yes.
dueling with swords?
Oh, I know what. So our question was way to settle disagreements and our form of execution.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
That's it.
I said dueling and guillotine. That was mine. Yeah.
I said dueling and firing squad.
I said jousting, and I'm putting you on a horse and tying your neck to a tree limb, and then you just have to sit there and wait.
Because
until
I
the
saw it
horse
in
moves.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, because I saw it in Yellowstone. Well, apparently, I guess Rand Paul and Markwayne Mullen watched the
Hate
show.
each other.
No, they watched the show because they started talking about dueling yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we should just settle this whole war. Trump versus Khomeini's son. I don't know. Is he alive or does he have a leg?
He's disfigured.
What does that mean?
Like he's probably missing limbs.
Well,
He
you can
can't
still
roll.
turn around to duel. Wait.
I don't. If he doesn't have arms,
you can't take
maybe
10
not.
Steps.
Maybe he has to use his foot.
That's a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah. How would you? You could get on a scooter. It's 2026.
Did y'all see the report
10
too?
paces, and then you just wheel around.
Did y'all see the report that Khomeini's son, Trump, was briefed that he may be gay?
I did see that
because that matters.
Apparently,
If you
in
have a
that
leg or
country,
not.
because they have
Really?
rules for thee and not for me. Have you seen the way the elite of that country get married? Their daughters are treated like royalty because they are. Meanwhile, they beat the crap out of one of 4 wives at will. This is ridiculous. Anywho,
Well, okay, if he is gay,
mhm.
yeah, I guess that's not good.
that seemed like a psyop to me, to the
That's
Iranian people.
That's not good. Look at your gay leader.
Your leader's disfigured, and by the way, he's gay. Okay, he's disfigured and he likes boys. What do you think about that?
Now, boys or men?
Oh, it is the Middle East.
Okay.
Boys,
Yeah.
because they were their sex slaves. So we are getting 12-year-old Trump in these moments.
Is it not funny? Speaking of, this is not where I was going with this, but you see those videos in those countries where men and women, I guess they're Islamic countries, now that I'm thinking about it, can't be together. So they dress the boys up like girls to dance for them.
Uh-huh. That's so
Yes.
that they will become their sex partners.
Yeah, but why don't you clearly like there's a God-given desire towards women? Why don't you just bring the women in? Let them take their hijabs off.
Because the
And then
women
you don't have to be gay and weird.
Well, they are gay and weird. The women tempt them just by virtue of even showing a toe. So they can't even bear to see the women. So they just take out all their nasty, depraved desires on men.
So we're going to dress the boys up like women and lust after them?
Yes, we
Because
are.
that's better.
Well, many of them are gay. Listen, I'm going to say it. No one else will.
You started this.
Steve Dace has said it.
this.
Other people have said it. I'm going to say it. Somebody's got to say it. There are parts of Islam with the promised virgins, with the young men who will get raped by older men. It is a depraved sex cult. Oh, and by the way, you can abuse women. I mean, have you seen the videos of men hitting their women or practicing hitting their wives and listening to Khomeini before he died, talking about the role of women? They're dogs, they're animals, they're property. To me, parts are a depraved sex cult.
I think that's true.
Okay. Do they hit their women because like they didn't have dinner on time, or are they called to hit them just on a schedule? Like, are you like, you haven't beat your wife today, it's 3:00, time to go beat your wife?
It's funny.
Or is it that,
I've got bookmarks.
They disobey?
It's just an inherent, they don't view them, they view them as animals. So how do you treat your sheep? You hit it.
No, you don't. I mean,
Well-
not unless they do something, they get out of line. But if your sheep stay in line, you should just leave them alone. So I'm asking, like, is it because the women get out of line, or is it like you have to beat your wife 5 times a day whenever you pray?
Well, do we want to look at this or no?
Yeah, we want to, anything that says content warning, sensitive content. What the?
That's in Turkey.
Wait, they're just like at the grocery store and he's just pummeling his wife.
The classic Islamic approved way to enforce obedience. That's real. That's what they do.
He has a pole.
Yeah. Women are dogs in their culture.
Okay, and he's just walking. Oh, look, that man came over and said, no, look, they're dueling. They're dueling over that old man is saying, don't do it.
So
that's disturbing.
This is what they do. But those wives from whom, I mean, this is from the Quran 4 verse 34b. But those wives from whom you fear arrogance, first advise them. Then if they persist, forsake them in bed and finally strike them. This is what they do. Legally permitted beating, again.
At least they have a warning.
Gives women half the value of men in inheritance and testimony, allows child marriage, enforces strict dress codes and modesty laws only on women, legally justifies marital rape and polygamy, but forbids the same for men. In many Muslim countries, honor killings, female genital mutilation. Think of I'll have to find the lady. I've read her book. And guardianship systems are widespread and defended in religious terms. So this is who they are. This is what they do. This is normal. And then there's a doctor. This is what I had saved a couple weeks ago. A doctor reminding men not to break their wives' bones or hit vital organs or their face when beating them. You should beat them like you love them, not severely injure them. This is their culture. This is why they must be defeated. Period. And if you're just a secular Muslim, then please speak up for this. But this is why it has to be defeated.
I think in our interview yesterday with Philip Brown, that was just a great conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would love to have him back, but
it'd be great.
That's what I was struck with, was him saying, they're not all like that. Many don't practice that, but nobody wants to speak up to say we don't practice that. Mm-hmm. So what are we going to be left with?
That's right.
It was a little bit of circular logic that there's got to be an end point somewhere. If nobody speaks up and says, hey, that's not the way we live or we want to live, then it just continues. And so anyway, that was in regards to the Republican Party. But look at what's happening in England and across Europe and starting to happen here. And we're all just going, but they're not all like that.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, if that is your, if as a true Christian, you say, well, I don't really believe the Bible, then you're not a Christian. That's the book we have. So you're right. It is circular reasoning. Nobody wants to speak out. So you know who's in charge of you.
Even though you say you don't like it.
Exactly.
Got it. Still want to bring back dueling after all that.
Yeah, can we
absolutely have to bring back dueling.
Can we play the clip from?
Is there a longer
Please.
clip? Because
Yeah,
I still don't know why they were even talking about dueling.
Well, no, they were talking about dueling because Rand Paul hates Markwayne Mullen, and he was like, "You've got some troubling views, and you want to bring back dueling." So that's how it came to the question.
Oh,
He was putting it on Mullen about his views on it.
Okay.
So
right.
this is the
Roll the tape.
This is the tape.
Simply pointing out is some of the rules that still apply to this body. For instance, dueling with 2 consenting adults is still there. I was pointing out what is
Been
still
illegal for
acceptable.
170 years. There's no precedent for legal dueling. Even then, they fled the country. Do you realize that the man that beat Charles Sumner with a cane, he beat him till he was unconscious? You know why no senators intervened? Because his friend held a gun on the other senators, and he kept beating him until he crushed his skull. That's what you're insinuating is the precedent of the Senate, and that's what you live by. That is a very, very dangerous sentiment.
Yeah.
I still don't understand.
What do you mean?
Was Markwayne Mullen suggesting that they go outside and duel, or was that like a you stand your butt up? No, you stand your butt up.
Okay, so they hate each other already, and Markwayne actually had said some things about Rand Paul about getting jumped or something, and so Rand Paul is the chair of the committee, and that's how I brought it. He first started off with saying, "Would you like to say it to my face now that we're across from each other?" But then he was just pressing him on, you really think we should be dueling? You really think we should? He's trying to discredit Markwayne and his views. Is that what that was? That's why he brought it up.
And I did hear the clip of them going back and forth about Rand Paul when he was jumped by his neighbor.
Yeah, I mean, he had to have like parts of his lung. It was not good.
It was bad. But Markwayne, the only thing he did say was, at the time, I didn't know the extent of your injuries. Okay. Still, buddy.
Yeah.
You need to apologize.
Yeah. Well, did y'all see who was sitting behind Markwayne during his hearing?
Was that the Teamster guy? I thought I recognized him.
Sean O'Brien.
What?
The sit your butt down guy.
You stand your butt up.
I mean,
tough guy.
Yeah, stand your butt up. Yeah, not sit your butt
Why
down.
was he there?
Because they're besties now.
Yeah,
They
they're
talk all the
friends.
time.
Wait, Markwayne and Teamsters?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're friends now.
Oh.
But it was really interesting. There was a source reportedly, I actually heard this from allegedly that because Katie Britt and Markwayne are really good friends, and I believe Katie Britt is on that committee. And she asked, because typically the chair brings it in. Katie asked to introduce Markwayne because they're friends, and apparently Rand Paul told her no, and said that he was going to do it. So yeah, and he actually passed out of the committee 8-7. You want to know how?
How?
Because Fetterman voted yes for him.
Look at Katie go.
Okay.
So
now let me just circle back, Saki, to the Teamsters and Markwayne. Kind of excited about that if we're dealing with ICE and getting people out, because maybe he could have some people looking out. If you're Teamsters.
Yeah.
I should help you kind of situation.
Bet they're for dueling.
Yeah.
They love dueling.
They're probably more the Jared Hudson. Let's just let our fists fight it out.
I don't know. There's a lot of people who have issues with Markwayne, and I get the issues. But if we're going to put somebody in a certain role, in a certain position, I feel like he would be the type to just figure out a way to get it done in terms of being the head of Homeland Security. So I understand the sentiment and people concerned about Markwayne and how he may have anger issues, whatever. But if we're going to put him in a job where you need to figure out a way and just put your nose and get it done, I think Homeland Security would be a great one. So I get it, but I think that this job, I think he could be good at.
Do you think that part of the reason why he was voted out, in addition to Fetterman, was because he added the federal warrants when they're going to arrest. Like he changed what kind of warrant they were going to use, which I didn't necessarily disagree with, but I wondered if he did that as a kiss butt.
Maybe so.
I'll play ball, guys, because he doesn't strike me as a I'll play ball, guys kind of person. I just wondered. Okay, then. All righty then.
You stand your butt up.
You stand
Why
your
is
butt
it
up,
always
big guy.
him? I guess maybe I mean, I kind of like him, but maybe he is in some ways not a likable guy. But I don't need a best friend. I need
Right.
you to go in and get rid of the bad guys. And so maybe if we direct, it's like a child that has special leadership ability and gifts, aka aggressively helpful or bossy. Like if you put them in the right position, they can use those gifts. Maybe that's what we're doing with him. Let's give him somewhere to channel his anger and frustration and get them all out.
Well, like Marco Rubio. Think about him. And he's run for office and you like him, but you're like kind of annoyed by him. He's now shining.
Yep. You're right.
So yes, I think perhaps giving people a chance to get in the right spot, and he could absolutely make that place shipshape.
Shipshape.
Shipshape. That was an old lady term I just used.
Aaron.
Shipshape.
Top shipshape.
You guys, I found a story that's a little bit of good news, and I don't know if you saw it, but it was from yesterday. I don't know where it stands today. Just real quick, I want to know what you think about this. The No Pay During Shutdowns Act.
Ooh.
Which would bar members of Congress from receiving paychecks, just passed out of the U.S. House Committee. That was last night. This should have been done a long time ago. If our troops don't get paid, neither should Congress.
But
What do you think about that?
that's so mean. We're
Yes.
doing the work of the people.
Right? But I thought, this is something I actually agree with.
Unfortunately,
It'll never happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, the people who get paid are going to have to be the ones that pass it. So I don't have high hopes. But yeah, like if your job is to keep the government open and keep the government funded, and you fail at your job, then yeah, you shouldn't get paid either. Figure it out, and you won't get paid until you figure it out. I guarantee you, if that were the case, they'd get it figured out lickety split, or it wouldn't even be shut down to begin with.
Yeah.
This is okay. Well, they're all playing the same thing. So apparently it's in the same place. But anyway, I just thought that was a little bit of a,
Well,
okay.
Since we're in Congress still, the Save America Act, Coach didn't give us great. So it passed. No, it didn't pass.
No.
It just is like, now we can debate it. Blah, 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 blah. So nothing's going to happen.
No, well, so the whole debate about enforcing a talking filibuster and I don't know, getting around the filibuster like that hasn't even been conquered yet. All that advanced was to bring it to where they debate. But yeah, and Thune is not willing to do what he needs to do to enforce a talking filibuster or do anything to get around needing 60 votes to bring closure. So that's when, what Coach was saying about this whole week is just for show. That's what he was referring to of we advanced it. That's kind of like we're doing our best. We're moving it along. But those dang Democrats, they hate America. They don't want safe elections. Was like, you're the ones in power. So do something. I don't know. So I'm not very optimistic because it's not going to happen unless they find a way to get around the filibuster.
Next time we do allegedly, I have something I'm hearing that maybe they could do to work around the system.
I'm sure there's a lot.
I'm guessing they all know it, and for whatever reason, they're not doing it. What does this do? We haven't really talked about Phil Williams. He made it out of committee, right?
Yes.
But how does this hold up his full Senate confirmation?
Well, first of all, the government shut down late last year, backed it up big time. So there was that. I don't know specifically with this, as long as they're debating this bill, they can't bring up other things. So I'm not sure specifically, but it definitely doesn't help.
Yeah, because I'm thinking not much is going to pass. I mean, I hope he's not stuck for a while.
He
But-
got nominated in mid-October,
Mm.
and we were in March, and he just now got out of committee. So,
Okay.
but sorry, this is why the Democrats are doing what they're doing, because there's so many other Phil Williamses out there
Yeah.
that Trump wants to get into their job, and they just obstruct, and they can't.
If I know Phil, he's bitching.
So, an update. Talked about the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently, an hour ago, 6 American allies just pledged to support to secure the Strait of Hormuz shipping
Really?
lanes.
Who
It's
were
on the
this?
Harris Faulkner show. Japan, Britain, France, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands. That's good news.
It's about time.
Didn't think that was going to happen. That's really good news.
What does that look like? What does it look like?
They send their navy to help escort ships through the strait, and maybe Iran thinks twice about striking ships of countries they're not at war with, because then that starts a world war.
Or they're all like, oh, look, they're all together.
Right. So
It's time to go out with a bang.
yeah, that could be the case. And then we'll see if that happens. Are our allies willing to stick through and keep going? I'm very curious what Iran's response to that will be.
I don't know. I really don't.
What does this do for China and Taiwan? Like, I'm sitting here going, there's lots of talk about how China and Iran go together and how China benefits, and then you throw Russia in there. But China's got to be sitting there going,
Mm-hmm.
the U.S. is about out of all of their munitions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're having emergency meetings that we have to restock. It takes 2 years to build these missiles. What do you think they're like? Let's let Iran keep this going, deplete all of their supplies, and then we'll go take Taiwan.
I think so. I think when people are saying this was a 4D chess move because China and Russia get so much of their oil from Iran, it's way overblown, because now their oil is needed and they're raking in money. And guess who's best friends with Russia? China. So China is not losing their oil supply from Iran. I think what you said is true. I think they're seeing the United States getting stretched thin.
Yep.
And
they're
circling.
just waiting.
I don't know. I think the plan, allegedly, the Chinese plan was like 2027 to do something with Taiwan, which is coming up.
Perfect timing. Almost like it was planned.
Speaking of, another little tiny update from people. Number 1, Tim Burchett says Markwayne is the man for the job.
I trust him.
Don't believe the crap that's out there. So there's that.
Stand with Tim.
And number 2, I think it was Anna Paulina Luna, but others are, I've seen videos of Congress people getting escorted through the DC airport past the 4-hour line TSA to go home for the weekend. So other people, in addition to stopping their paychecks while the troops don't get paid, are also saying, let them wait in the 4-hour long line also.
No, it's
common
rich.
sense. I mean, even Nancy Mace is walking right past him going, they don't care.
But did you see Nancy Mace, what she was doing? It was really smart, but everybody knows what you're doing, girl.
Was she on the phone?
She was on her phone. I'm doing business. She had her briefcase and she was walking straight through. And I can't acknowledge the cameras or you poor people waiting in line because I've got business.
Meanwhile, if she held up her phone, it looked like that.
Yeah, that's it. You're doing business with the weather app.
Yeah.
I'm making a call.
Oh,
Kid lawyer, high five for you.
At least fake it. Like, go through the back door.
Yeah.
Like, don't walk and do your princess wave as you go by. All the lowly people.
Because everybody is giving you the middle finger.
Come to Washington,
Sorry,
D.C.
they are.
Are we going to do a plunge when we get back?
Yes.
Before we do that, when we get back, we want to give an update. The House may be voting on close primaries today.
Yes,
What do you
please.
think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend that's there. Apparently, they just started debating now. So we'll see.
Sweet.
Great.
All right, we'll be back on the right side.
JP here with Rightside. I need to remind you that Inspire Advisors is one of our sponsors, and they are doing amazing work. We know this audience, and you're the kind of folks who believe in standing up for your principles and being good stewards of your resources. What if the companies you're invested in don't reflect your values at all? That's why you need to meet Paul Breyer and his team at Inspire Advisors. Inspire Advisors, they are experts in the field of biblically responsible investing. They can help you grow your bottom line while also being proud of what companies you invest in. Inspire Advisors, you got to go check them out. Here's their website, www.moneypatternwealth.com, and tell them you heard about it on Rightside Radio.
Talk about election integrity, Save America Act, whatever in DC, that at every point in the process of our election, of the process of election, state and federal, that we need structural integrity and clarity. It's really important. So the concept behind closing the primaries in Alabama, what my bill does is right now, if someone says today, I'm a registered Republican or I'm a registered Democrat, well, we actually don't have that in Alabama. So maybe they did something at the federal level or with the national RNC or the national DNC or whatever. But as far as the state is concerned, there is no party registration. So the way that this works is, the way that the bill is written is, come January 1st of 27, we would all be marked as unaffiliated, which we kind of already are, officially as far as the Secretary of State's voter information or whatever. And so then you can register. So you can register in one of three ways. So that's after January 1st, if you go to register to vote, you will have on the form, you'll be able to choose your Republican, Democrat, or unaffiliated.
Okay.
If you skip that or don't fill it in for some reason, you'll be marked as unaffiliated, right? Second way you can register with a party is you can just go to the Board of Registrars and do it there. The third way is you can do it online with the Secretary of State. And if you miss all of that, we don't want you getting penalized as a voter. You can just show up at the polls and pick a primary or a primary runoff ballot, right? If you skip the primary and go to the runoff because you missed the primary or whatever, either way, if you pick a primary ballot or a primary runoff ballot, picking that ballot will register you for that party, right? That's the on-ramp system.
Okay.
So that's the concept behind it. So then there's a 60-day there's a blackout period that starts 60 days before the primary through the corresponding general election. And what that means is within that 60-day before the primary through the general, you can't swap your party registration, right? So the idea there is, obviously, if you're unaffiliated and that's all you've ever been, you just show up and vote and you get registered, but you can't swap from one party to another party inside that blackout period. And the reason for that is very simple. Is two reasons. Number one, that's why it's a closed primary. You're closing the primary for people to vote for the nomination of their party, right? Primaries belong to parties. Now, another interesting fact behind that is people don't realize too that oftentimes when you go to vote in a primary for a party, you're also oftentimes voting for either local or state executive committee members. What party in their right mind wants somebody who's not part of their party choosing their local or state executive committee members? Well, that's like if you had a rural electrical co-op and they mail out the ballots to vote for your leadership on the co-op or whatever, the cooperative board. They don't mail them to people outside of the cooperative district. That'd be stupid. You wouldn't do that, right? And that's the equivalent of what we currently have in Alabama, allowing that. So we want structural integrity. We want Republicans nominating Republicans and Democrats, as well as the local and state executive committee members who set the policy of the party. But also that 60-day window beforehand is there because legally at 55 days before the primary, by state law, statute, the probate judge of the county is required to take the voter data and deliver it to the absentee election manager 55 days before the primary, so that the absentee election manager can do their job of delivering absentee ballots to those who request them. Right. So there's a legal reason. Now, if that window was say 30 days as opposed to 55, we could tighten our window down to 35. Right. But there's a legal reason for that. And then obviously a conceptual reason that if you're going to close the primaries, you can't be swapping parties during the primary. Now, we do allow outside the blackout period because, we would love for more people as a Republican who believes in my party platform. I would love to welcome more people into the Republican camp who believe in the party platform. So it's not a way of shutting people out, which is why outside the blackout period of that 60 days before through the general, once you get past the general, you have all the way to that next blackout period, you're going to have 2 years later, you can swap your party registration, right? So does it stop all crossover voting? I mean, if you're literally swapping your primary party registration every single primary just to vote for someone, it's probably pretty rare, right? But it does provide a very easy path for people to swap their parties if they say, you know what, I really think boys can't become girls. And I really think we shouldn't chop off our kids' private parts. You know, I really think that.
Welcome back to the Right Side. I'm Allison Sinclair with Amy Beth Shaver. She's looking for something feverishly. JP is holding us down over there. There's some good clips coming out I don't even know what you're looking for.
I'm looking for our plunge that I saved this morning, that I've saved
Oh.
so many other things. I'm having to go back and find it.
All right. Well, 21 minutes ago, President Trump is holding a press conference in the Oval Office, and this is his answer to the Israelis bombing the oil field without his knowledge. I told him, don't do that, and he won't do that. We're independent, but get along great. It's coordinated, but on occasion he'll do something, and if I don't like it, so we're not doing that. Okay. I guess we're not doing that. He says he's continuing to claim he did not know that that was going to happen. I'm also going to play this clip real quickly. In response, he was asked about putting troops on the ground and into some of these countries.
Do you intend to lift sanctions on Iranian oil, and do you intend to potentially put U.S. troops or more troops in the region?
No, I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you, but I'm not putting troops, and we will do whatever is necessary to keep the price as well. I actually thought when I did this, look, the Dow just hit 50,000.
I'm tired of hearing about the Dow.
Wasn't that a few weeks ago?
Yes.
I mean, and it's plummeted. So anyway, but okay, troops. That's good. I don't have to tell the girl.
Well, right now.
JP, I can take that dress back that I purchased for you.
Okay.
Yeah, my kid's the only one who couldn't fit in a dress, but I don't think he'd be able to serve. He's too tall. My girls would, though. Gosh, the Dow. Okay.
Oh, real quick. Update. Closed primaries. Just now debating. What do we think about any hope this passes the House? And if it does, do you think it gets out of the Senate, or is this just a for show thing?
No, it'll pass the House.
It's going to pass.
There will be egg all over Speaker Ledbetter's face if it doesn't.
And if this is a new beginning, this is going to pass, and this is going to be, he's going to get to say he put it on the special order calendar like he did.
Yep.
And it's going to pass, and we're going to cheer. Although there's still so much work to be done. This is huge, and we're so excited for our friend Ernie. This is big.
Yeah. The Senate, I think, is going to be, and I don't know why they're being kind of, people are whipping votes. And so there's kind of a count that's going around, those that have said yes, those that have said no. And then there's some that are iffy. And some of the names that I'm hearing that are iffy, I'm kind of like, what's your motivation here? Like some of them you would be surprised. So I'm hoping, Will Ainsworth, when we interviewed him on Tuesday, he said, I think it'll pass the Senate, and he seems to be confident in the chances of that. I hope there aren't any amendments. Like that's what could happen. If it goes to the Senate and they make amendments there, then it has to go back to conference committee where the Senate and the House come together and they debate and they come up with one version, and then it's this whole thing. We're not running out of time. There's time for all that, but it's getting close. I think they're on spring break next week, and then they come back and I think have 2 more weeks, which I don't know if those are 3 session day weeks or if they only have 2, but like we're getting to the end of session. Things get squirrely.
Yeah.
People get frustrated. This is kind of when the claws come out. Everybody plays really nice for a while. I don't take anything for granted, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I was listening to a journalist in the state that was saying that they think the Senate doesn't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. This is something that takes 2 to 3 years to get done. It won't happen this session. It may happen next session. So I don't know. That's why I wonder, like, if it's one of those things where hey, get some heat off of, the speaker. We'll pass it in the House, but we know the Senate won't touch it. So we'll just, and then 2 or 3 years, everybody will be moved on, and then nobody will want to, so.
They're close on votes in the Senate, though, if everybody's being honest, which they could totally. It's like, who are you going to vote for?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you who I'm going to vote for, but that doesn't mean I go into the booth and vote for that person. They're close, but
I have an idea. This will have to happen next year.
what's the idea? Are we going to go roll the state house?
Yeah.
Y'all, we missed our chance. We were there.
You know what? We can roll it the
We
day
can go
before
back.
they demolish the state house. So I'm serious. So
That's a great idea.
next year, when session starts, we'll get a couple weeks under the belt, figure out what they're going to do. But we're going to, I'm just going to declare, if you're interested, we can take a group of y'all, because will help us transport people or meet up there, to go have lunch. We will do the show from there and then meet y'all and have lunch and take you so that you can watch the procedures in the House and the Senate. Not very long because it's boring. It's
so
really boring. You're going to go, this is what they do? Yes. And then perhaps, though, the real dazzler would be getting a few of our leaders to speak and say a couple words. But we
Hey,
should have an event down at the Capitol next year.
We cannot eat in the cafeteria. I will tell you that.
I know. It's so
Because
sad.
there ain't one.
It smelled like
Yeah.
butter beans
Girl, there ain't no
and
cafeteria in
hot
there.
dog water. That's what it smelled like.
Yeah.
It did.
Hot dog water.
It did. It was in the walls.
It was stuck to the walls. But you're right, Abs. It's really boring. You need to go see it. But, after we finished the interview, Speaker Ledbetter and House members went in to gavel in. And Alabama's so weird because the whole body has to vote on these. We have local bills and then the whole anyway. And so I swear for an hour, Speaker Ledbetter said, the clerk will read the bill, BIR, the A's are 48, nays are 69, and we're moving on. And the clerk will read the bill,
Yep.
and the clerk will, and you're like, what are we even? And there's no debate on those like local bills, and you're just sitting there. And I don't know how he keeps straight. He sounds like an auctioneer.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for the representatives that are there just doing, like, they got to be there, and they came and, like,
Yeah.
they're hurrying up and doing nothing.
And then we come at them when they're not there to, hit the button. We're like, they're proxy voting.
You voted absent? What is wrong with you?
And somebody's pushing the button for you. Well, yeah, I had to go to the bathroom and I had been
Yeah.
sitting there for 4 hours already, and it was really boring.
Calm
was
down, Phyllis.
I was talking to Bubba about his son's T-ball game. I missed it. Sorry.
The only fun thing is when Gavan, what's her first name?
Wandolin?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. Wandolin.
Yes.
Oh.
When she gets up with her big glasses.
And they change every time. And you do kind of want to see what she said, listen to what she says and see what she wears. So anyway, but that's what we're going to do next year. I declare it.
Oh, Rightside field trip.
Rightside field trip on Right Lane Tours. And we're going to have a bus.
I like it.
Rightside tours.
Because Mr. our friend from Hoover is going to help us. He said he would. And this
Does he
is
have a
just different.
bus?
I'm adding it on. He has access to somebody who has a company who does this.
Of course he does.
Uh-huh. So let us know if you're interested. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. That'll be coming out soon.
How can they subscribe?
Allison, how can they subscribe?
Well, you can go to rightsidemedia.org and you can click the listen live. We may or may not be there depending on what time, but you can listen live there and watch live. And then right below it says subscribe to our newsletter. You just type in your email. I don't know when we'll send out our first newsletter, but it's coming
soon.
We're working on it.
I'll show Allison, but I showed JP. JP has seen our first go at it.
I've laid eyes on it.
So
it's happening.
It's happening. The dragging and dropping is really easy. There are two things coming together. We'll see how that goes. It's going to happen though. And we're excited. We can't wait to get it to you. All right, you guys, this is a subject we haven't brought up yet. Not as long as we've had the show.
What have we not talked about?
Not really in depth.
Let me guess.
But we're going to do it on the plunge. That's such a lot. We may need an HE flush.
By the way, that's what the toilets in the State House flush like.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
You sound like your kindergarten, elementary school toilet.
And they're so low to the ground.
Yeah.
Like where are the high boys?
That may have been the most shock that was from the whole trip. The toilets.
Or the bathroom.
Just the bathroom as a whole.
So, guys, I'm looking forward to I've got a clip from a lady that I've been saving for a couple of weeks. But Allison and I noticed this a couple years ago, that there was clearly Biden had a war on parents, but it went deeper than that. So I saw from Mike Benz in America First Legal. This is before I'm setting this up before I play this clip, because the clip is what I want to interact with. But newly released CIA documents reveal the Biden administration identified motherhood and homemaking as indicators of white, racially and ethnically motivated violent extremism.
Look, those sourdough bread bakers are deadly.
We're crazy.
I mean, watch out.
So an agency with critical intelligence responsibilities was spending its resources targeting women promoting motherhood. So that is what I found today. But more than that, there's a clip that I've saved that a lady was on, and she talks about a book. I wrote the book down. I can't wait to order it. About motherhood and the myth of feminism and the lies that we have been sold and how that's affecting culture. But her take and her wisdom was interesting. The clip is a little long. There is a lot in it. And on the other side, I want to talk about it.
This is good, Abs. This is good.
Would love to have their wife home with their kids. It's really tough.
So why did women entering the workforce keep men's wages stable or keep them from going up along with the inflation?
It really fundamentally changed the economy. I have a friend named Aaron Clary who wrote a book about this. It's an analysis of what he calls a female-based economy, where it's more consumer-driven. Women are responsible for 80% of consumer spending. And now that they're all educated and in the job market, we have a lot more of things like HR departments, psychology, sociology. The economy shifted away from being manufacturing and production and more male-dominated things to we have all these women coming out of university, and what do they get degrees in? I think 80% of psychology degrees are earned by women. And then despite all our efforts to push women into STEM, there's still maybe 20% of STEM degrees. So we have all these very educated women, and we have a lot of kind of fluffy jobs like office jobs, HR jobs, social media managers. And mostly women do a lot of the same things they used to do in the home. So they're nurses, they're early childhood educators, they're retail workers, they're cooks, they're housekeepers. They're doing a lot of the stuff they used to do, which the Marxist feminists called unpaid labor, right? This is the myth of women's unpaid labor. So instead of cleaning your own house, educating your own children, cooking meals for your family, maybe for your parents or grandparents who can't cook for themselves, all the things we used to do for our own family, clerical work, bookkeeping for your husband's business, things like that. We're doing those things for corporations. So that, and this was kind of by design. A lot of the book is about the fact that there were people who pushed feminism, and it wasn't because women were oppressed and they cared about the position of women necessarily. It's because the same people who pushed, the 19th Amendment and pushed progressivism and feminism were the same people who drafted the Federal Reserve legislation, came up with the income tax, came up with the compulsory education system. And especially on the Marxist side, they pushed feminism because they said if we can push mothers and women into the workforce and we double the workforce, workers of the world unite. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have this huge workforce, and through the university systems, we can kind of propagandize the young women to be socialists and to be Marxists, because they kind of tend that way anyway. The way that women's brains work is very communitarian for a reason. We're moms.
It's so much.
Wow.
So we're doing the jobs we were already doing at home because we believed the myth of female oppression and the unpaid worker. So now you're letting other people educate your kids. You are cooking for others, cleaning for others, doing secretarial work for others, all good work. And in the end, when I did the math, because I wanted to see if I needed to go in the workforce when Emmy was little and Chris was in residency and we had like about 2 pennies. When I did the math for the job that I was going to get, I would end up just being paid enough to cover all the expenses. I wasn't going to earn a dime. And so then you have to ask yourself, is this worth it or not? But beyond that is that underlying desire to get women out of the home, to create this Marxist culture that we are oppressed. Now we have a chance, but now we're out of the home. So not only are our children being affected by Marxist ideology, K through 12, they're now being hit with it again when they get to college, and now they're out in the workforce. And so the worst thing you can do is be at home. Meanwhile, all those videos that you've seen and you've showed in the years past of girls crying in their cubicles because they just want to go home. They have been duped into leaving that sacred place called the home to do the exact same work that you'd get satisfaction from doing it at home, but not in the corporate culture, because the only place the same work is valued is out of your stupid home, because you're too dumb to figure out this is not true. This is what they think of you. That's what they think of us. Is out in the world. That's the only place it's respectable. In the home, not respectable. Nobody can see you do what you're doing. So you must not matter. It's a lot.
Yeah, I have done a complete 180 on this subject from where I was in college and early 20s. I grew up with a single mom. My parents got divorced when I was 3, and my mom had to work 3 jobs, and I was an only child. And I watched her work her fanny off to provide for me. And I guess listening to her, she was always like, you never know what life's going to deal you. You have to be able to take care of yourself. You have to be able to provide for yourself. In some ways, that is true. But I just kind of had this. I mean, I went into engineering. I got my engineering degree. I was planning on climbing the corporate ladder. I was going to have kids maybe at 28. Kids, I didn't grow up like having my kids named and my wedding dress picked out. That just wasn't, that wasn't me. I was going to go into the world and conquer it, which God is funny, because then I met Jared, got engaged at 22, married at 23, and had a baby by 24. At that time, I was working at Chick-fil-A's home office doing computer programming. And then Jared took a job in Birmingham. And so, as timing, I left Chick-fil-A and 2 months later had a baby and never got back into the workforce. And I look back and go, oh my word, like God saved me from myself. It was the opposite of what I had planned, but I am so thankful that I was in a position that my mom wasn't. She didn't have a choice. She had to work to stay home with my kids, ended up having 4 children. I won't lie and say that I was great at it. I screwed up a lot, still do every day, but I'm so thankful. And it's funny because now I look back, I'm like, why in the world do so many women, and again, there's a discussion to be had, because people, the really fundamentalists would judge us for being here today. Our kids are older, but why do men come home and they're like, the longest day, and you hear, and like work is so drudgery. It's just so, and you read Ecclesiastes, we're called to work, but after the fall, it's laborious and it's not fun. And sometimes you slog through it, and women are like, yes, that will be the pinnacle of my life if you will put me in a cubicle and I will follow what a man or another woman tells me to do all day. Meanwhile, my kids are going and being educated by someone else, and then they're going to a daycare after school, and I have maybe 30 minutes with them a day after they're with all these other people and they go to practice, and then we send them off to Sunday school to be educated in, Bible. Some people don't have the choice, but somewhere along the way, we were sold a bill of goods that was a total lie, that choosing to stay home was lesser than, when it's obvious that is what God created us for. And again, please hear me say, some people are not in the position to be able to do that. That's a whole other discussion. Some people, every situation is different, but to look down on people like Amy Beth and I, or any mom, and then we ended up homeschooling.
Oh,
both
yeah,
of us,
same.
which is just hysterical.
Well, it is.
Might as well have given us a denim skirt and a bonnet.
People ask me when I told them I was going to bring my kids home for a period of time, are you going to get goats? I ended up getting chickens. Are you going to wear denim skirts and that's all? And are you going to wear a bun? I was like, y'all know me. Oh, and are you going to quit wearing makeup? I was like, I thought you were my friend. But yes, I'm with you. My mom stayed at home when we were in school. She learned and followed a decorator around and kind of shadowed her. I don't even know what you would call that, but she was always industrious. Your mom, always industrious. So please hear us. You have to do what's best for your family. But when your children are young and you have the chance right now to decide, ask yourself, is it really worth it to have everybody else do what we were created and inclined to do? Yes, it means some of it's really boring. And yes, it means you're going to go without. That's what that means. But it also means that for Allison and I, the way the Lord worked it out, I worked part-time when the kids were young, 1 or 2 days a week. I have kind of been in media and speaking, but I was with my kids, and the Lord deemed it so that both of us are working the other half. And I heard Oprah talk about this when Emmy was a newborn, and I was in the middle of the night watching TV and feeding her. And she talked about, you can have it all, but sometimes it's going to be in a different order than you think. And as women, maybe we've gotten this out of order. And I'd never thought about it that way before. And I didn't know, because sometimes God shows you what's ahead before you even know what's ahead. And that's exactly what's happened to us.
Yeah.
Is we've been on the flip side. Molly kept asking me when she was growing along, the last child, what's your job, Mom? I'm like, you're my job. I will look for a different job somewhere in communications when you get into high school. Because for our family, that was the time. Also, Chris was gone all the time. Jared's gone all the time. Somebody has to be there. Mm-hmm. Now, I know some families that have family in town and their work hours are very flexible and they can make it work because they have resources that are different than other people. But our job first is a wife, and then a mother, and then anything else. And if you look around at our culture, our kids are suffering. LGBTQ identification skyrocketed, mental health skyrocketed, drug use skyrocketed, use of SSRIs, and I mean drugs, pot, etc. SSRIs doesn't mean people don't need it, but that's skyrocketed. You ask kids, they're lonely. What do they want the most? They want a parent. So I found that clip and I thought that is such an interesting discussion. And again, some of you, no choice. You're doing what you've got to do. Great. But if you're starting out, or even if you have these flickers like, I am miserable, listen to your gut. That is not just a feeling when you drive away. I knew I was supposed to homeschool when I drive away from school and I cry all the way home. I was being disobedient to God. There, I said it. I messed up a lot as a mom, still mess up a lot as a mom. I think I mess up more than I get right. I really feel like that on some days, like whatever. But it is a high calling to be a wife and a mother. And regardless of what the world says, that is enough. Now, let me throw this in here real quick before we go and do our exit question of the day. Before the Industrial Revolution, husbands and wives worked together. The idea that we are to be industrious is very real. But based on the way the country split up post-Industrial Revolution, it changed everything. It changed the fabric of the country. And then so did removing the gold standard. Because now there's inflation and now money doesn't go as far. And then you add in what this woman was saying on Joe Rogan, and you've got several factors at work. And the people who suffer the most are children and women. And we need to rethink everything in that regard.
I was looking back at Proverbs 31 because something you said, here's what okay. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it's still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She didn't sit around playing patty cake with the kids all day. She was working and she was doing things. She was buying and selling fields and planting
She was an
them.
original real estate agent.
I mean, so I think that's an important point, but it all came out of the home. And I think that's the crux of it. Everything she did was an outpouring from what the home and what would provide for her home. She didn't go to an office and do the things, but she provided for her family and her children out of her home. And they worked together. I mean, think about that. He's probably out in the fields doing his stuff and she's taking care of the home. Then enter Industrial Revolution. And now you look and she talks about the Marxists. I mean, what's a better way to break down the family for you to start to depend on the government anymore than to get both parents out of the home, both parents living separate lives? I mean, it's hard. You give 8-9 hours a day to a world that neither spouse is really included in. It's hard to stay together. Then everybody after school is going so many different ways. I mean, we see the breakdown of our families. So I don't think that this is without consequence. Not that women can't have jobs, not that women can't do incredible things. That's not it.
We're not giving Sharia here.
But it's a balance. And I think it's something like my daughter, Jennings, all she wants to do is she's like, why am I studying finance? This is so stupid. She's actually really good at it. She just wants to get married and have babies. And it's funny because when she says that to people, even still, they kind of pause and go, what? So you don't really have any plans for your life? She's like, those are my plans.
Well, and I think about my life and how you're exactly right, Allison. I told Chris that on our very first date because I needed to know if I could still go out with him. I needed to see if he'd freak out or not. But it did come out of the home. Think about Meg Basham and all the good she's done with all the writing she does. And she homeschools her kids. And her husband is also in that field. Like there's so much we can do, but we've got to reorient. We can't orient out. We have to orient in and make this work first. And then everything else will fit in place. Because you've been given gifts and talents and God expects you to use it. But wow. We've at least got to have that discussion to get it started.
Abs, you could have given me a heads up that this was coming today. She just said, I've got the plunge. Let me find the story. Maybe this is the best way to do it. JP, you're very quiet on women in the home.
Well, I was going to jump in, but I didn't want to.
No, that was
jump
a
in
joke
anytime. Hey,
what? Women belong in the kitchen.
I mean, obviously, I'm just kidding.
Please stop telling the women to get out of the kitchen because I can't eat.
Yeah, I'm starving over here.
Tomorrow is Friday.
Whoop, whoop.
And we will be back. Y'all have a great night. March Madness. We're going to start racking up some points tonight, right?
Yes, we are.
I beat a winner. We'll see y'all tomorrow on the right side.